would like to call this meeting to order for the General Government and Finance Committee on Monday, April 19th at 6 p.m. And our Chair Trustee Zabel is not here this evening, so I'm calling the meeting to order. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with Section 19.83 and 19.84 Wisconsin statutes in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. And roll call shows that Trustee Zabel is absent, Trustee Wing is absent, Trustee Kaminsky and Myers are present, and Trustee Miller, Rick Miller, is here as well. And if there would be a motion for chair. Okay. Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Thank you.
All right. With that, we will move to approval of the minutes of April 5th, 2021.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right. We have a motion to approve. All in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or online that would like to make a public comment?
Not online.
Nobody? Okay. All right. Thank you. With that, we will move to new business. Item A, Resolution 08-2021, authorizing the borrowing not to exceed $3.2 million and providing for the issuance and sale of general obligation promissory notes therefore.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion. Any discussion? Yes, Trustee Myers.
My question to Steve, if he is in the audience this evening, are we borrowing $1,500,000 for roads?
Yeah, the Trustee Myers, this is Steve. I am online here, and yes, the borrowing authorization does include $1.5 million for roads.
The bids came in for I think close to another 100,000 more. Where is that money coming from?
We do have
roads, yes.
some other. I did talk briefly with Public Works Director Ratajczyk. I know that they are slightly over based on that. I believe that we do have some other funds available from prior years that we could apply to those projects. I don't believe that we need to increase the borrowing amount for 21.
The intention is that we will be training people for where they are and like what their position is, what their needs are, and what their job is. So that's the goal for the year, is to work on that with all of our staff. And then the last piece of it that we wanted to talk about was C-Click Fix, which is a customer relationship management software service through Civic Plus, who does our website. We do have a representative with C-Click Fix to do a very short demo for you guys so you can see a little bit more about what it is. It will be front facing for residents, but it's also something we can use behind the scenes for workflow management. So part of the goal of this will be that we're going to use this to track complaints and calls as they come in, and then we can track them as they're solved and check on response times and that kind of thing. It'll also allow us to do some reporting out to the board about where we are on that. And then we are also going to be able to allow residents to more easily report issues. So with all of that, I'm going to let Pete talk.
Sure. And Michelle, can you hear me? Michelle, can you hear me? Perfect. All right. So yes, real briefly, Pete with C-Click Fix. And like Michelle mentioned, C-Click Fix by Civic Plus is a citizen engagement and request management solution. It'll help bridge the communication gap between the village of Germantown and its constituents. But more importantly, C-Click Fix is going to provide better customer service to your constituents when they're, when reporting a concern, and also provide internal accountability when managing these concerns from start to finish. So what you're seeing here, to provide better customer service, C-Click Fix will help Germantown to promote the use of a citizen-facing customized mobile app built specifically for citizen request submissions. And then as you can see here, the user experience, like AKA the process in which your residents are going to submit a service request, is going to be very simple for them to understand and know how to use it. But basically, in essence, they're just picking a category of where the issue, what the issue is, location of the issue, and any additional information that is needed, like for instance, like a photo, but will help Germantown to address the concern. So once a citizen hits the submit button, the request is automatically forwarded to the right internal staff member to take action on. Part of providing a better customer service for Germantown's constituents is the use of a customized web portal in addition to the mobile app. So it's an additional channel for your constituents to report their concerns. But as you can see here, very similar user experience to the mobile app for selecting a category and location of the request submission. And similar to the mobile app, once the request is submitted, that is automatically forwarded to the right person internally to take action on it. Now, there are a handful of other internal features that Germantown will leverage to improve the efficiency of managing these requests from start to finish. But the biggest area of improvement is leveraging meaningful data to incorporate internal accountability and also to improve upon what's working and what's not. So this report card feature is a great way to provide operational visibility at a category, department, or individual level. So you'll now have access and be able to see key trends around data around resident engagement, staff adoption, staff response times, effective departments, popular service requests, where there's room for improvement. So again, what we're providing is a better way, or a better customer service for your constituents, more efficient ways for internal staff to manage these requests from start to finish, and more importantly, establish accountability internally for what's working and what's not.
The survey, or about C-Click Fix, or
Yes, obviously the tracking part of it, time for initial response is important. Also, time to close or time to solve the issue is also, and it has all that. I'm assuming that
it does. One of the really cool things that I thought was impressive on it is that during the implementation process, we can establish what our goals are. So if, for example, we say that X problem is supposed to be resolved within 48 hours, then it will actually track where we are compared to that 48
Put
hours.
deadlines on each type of
Exactly.
ticket.
So then we can see, what's late, or what's taking longer than normal. And that allows us to either, address it with the appropriate staff or maybe readjust our expectations on time. And obviously, when we first start, we're not going to necessarily always know how long something should take. But part of it is that we can update residents as we go. So, for example, if somebody tells us in December that their mailbox is down and our response is, okay, well, we're going to come out, or not mailbox, say yard, because that's a good one. We damaged their yard. We come out in the spring to fix it. So we would tell them at the beginning, we see that you have this problem, we will be addressing it, and this is how it gets addressed and when. And so then when it comes spring, we can send them another message and say, just so you know, our plan is to come out next week to repair your lawn. If you have any questions, let us know. And then when it's done, we can update it and say, hopefully everything went well. Just so you know, it's finished. We're going to close this out. And if you have any problems, let us know. So it allows us to keep people updated, which is where we found one of our biggest holes was, because it's very difficult to make sure everybody knows where we are on everything. And this allows some automation of that. So that's one of the things that we're super excited about being able to use through this.
Any questions, comments?
Good idea.
Yeah, trustee Myers.
I'm glad to actually see something in regards to this, because I don't know, speak about the negative, that's in the past. I'm glad to see this, and if I can have a presentation by you in person and a copy of this, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we can do a longer demo too. It's just, we figured for tonight's sake, we would introduce it. We haven't started implementation, so there's obviously going to be a lot of meetings. So we're happy to get you more information.
Thank you, appreciate that.
So I implemented something like this at the company I work for several years ago, and lessons learned are, it's a great tool. It's a fantastic tool. It saves a lot of time overall. You need a custodian though. Somebody needs to be responsible for this and part of their workload. Because tickets all of a sudden, I call them tickets because that's what we do, but
Right.
they tend to all of a sudden fade away and they're sitting there for months and nobody's looked at them. So just somebody eyeballs on it. Is there anything further, or you follow up with the proper person here
Right.
at the village hall?
I think initially that person will be me, and then it will get farmed out as we go through and get everybody more comfortable. But you're absolutely right. There needs to be somebody that the parent really, to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Communication, that's the most important thing. Two-way street.
Yes.
The other question goes back to the Survey Monkey thing. How does, is this going to fill in with Survey Monkey?
We can actually have the link to the SurveyMonkey on our messages that we send to people. So for example, when we close something out, part of that message could say, let us know how we did, and have a link to it.
And then also like on the counters, tell us how we did with the link on. Okay.
Yeah, my plan is that on the back side of that,
The mail
right,
one or
right, there'll be something on there about the website portion of it, and probably, just some general, like, this is how to contact us information. Since we have a backside, we can decorate. I just haven't done it yet.
Is there any action we need to take on this?
Nope, we're just updating you and letting you know. And obviously, if everybody hated it, we would rethink where we're going. But
Oh, I think it's a great tool.
yeah, awesome. Thank you.
I think the residents will be very happy with this.
I do too.
Okay, with that, we will move to unfinished business. Water sewer impact fees for Capri development. Who's got this one? I don't think there was anything in the packet, was there?
I don't think so.
I can chime in and just say that there is Nothing new to report on this item. Trustee Zabel had asked that this be put on until the issue is resolved. The village attorney did send a communication to the village attorney for Menominee Falls regarding the impact fees. And as of last report, I don't believe that we've received a response from Menominee Falls.
When was that letter sent from Brian to Menominee Falls, please?
I don't recall. It's been several months. And I know that there, on at least one occasion, the village attorney did follow up with a phone call. I don't believe they connected, but it has been several months.
I'm guessing he didn't hear you.
Steve,
Yes,
could I have a copy of the correspondence, please, in the future?
I will ask the village attorney for a copy. Yes.
So what's included in your packet is for the first 3 months of the year. We have not heard anything back from the auditors yet for 2020, so I'm waiting to hear back. They've been very helpful to us.
Questions? Trustee
Yeah.
Kaminsky.
And I'm probably just not reading this correctly, but on some of these,
Uh-huh.
when you look at March budget versus March actual, one I wanted to pull out was ambulance fees. And it says for March, the budget was $51,250 and the actual was $3,328. Why would there be such a great disparity? And
Yeah.
I've seen that in a number of these this
Mhm.
month, and I was just really curious in different departments.
Yeah, and it will vary by what item it is, but for ambulance fees, you're going to see this, and it's a good question. What was found from 2020 was that the Department of Revenue had backed off on some of their collections, and some of the items do go through them for collections. So their billing was down as well as the collections for that item. Good question.
Another one would be on page 31 in our packet, heat,
Mhm.
light, and power,
Yep.
just as a general expense, and that the budget was 4,100, and the March actual was like 7,500.
Yep.
There were enough of these to make me wonder, just that it seemed very odd.
Yep, another good question. We Energies completely redid some of their billing. And so some of their billing cycles are different as well as the account numbers. And we had a deputy clerk working quite a bit on this as well as other department directors. So what you're noticing is right on.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions?
It's on. Yeah, my microphone's on. Mm-mm.
No, it's at the bottom on
Yeah.
that version.
Okay.
Health and dental plans.
So what you'll see in here is the health and dental reports for March. Health continues to trend as it has in the past.
Any questions? Nope. Then we'll go to impact fees.
So what I've done on these reports, they are pulled directly from MSI rather than a spreadsheet that was keyed additionally. So that's why I've done this for 2 months like this, and it seems acceptable.
All right, and then we have a whole slew of accounts payable, March 19th, March 26th, March 31st, April 9th, and April 16th. Any questions about accounts payable?
Things stood out.
debt payments. Anything to note there, Deanna?
I did include at the very bottom, what's coming up is the safe drinking water loan. That payment is coming up, so I included that information at the bottom of the page. The rest of the information you had seen before.
Biggie.
Mhm.
With that, we'll move to item E, monthly code violation reports.
And Jeff reported to me today that he did not have anything new to report on that item, so there is not a report in there.
Okay. Item F, CIP projects.
Oh, that one did not make it in your packet, so I've got a couple here to pass out to you. Excuse me. And there hasn't been a lot of activity in the capital improvements, but I did print it out this afternoon for you. And just keep in mind the bottom line of the budget remaining. What is not out of that yet is the 100,000 for the audio visual updates. So keep that in mind when you look at the report.
Is the village hall roof, is that all paid?
Correct, but remember there was some savings from that that's going to be
Yeah.
used to the audio. Yeah, so that's, yeah, that will be applied to the audio visual. That's where that money is coming from. So,
I do remember that now.
okay.
That will move to letter of credit summaries.
And again, you've got a report from Finance and Director of Public Works. You do not have a report from zoning. He said there was no changes to his last report.
All right, and the last one is village contracts. This looks different from what I remember.
Mhm. There are a few updates.
Anything expiring here? Most of it's calendar year,
Mhm.
4/30. We got this all good already. It's in the packet.
The ones that say need review, like waste management and that's already been completed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on those? If not, we can schedule the next meeting, which I believe is, come on, calendar.
Mm,
The 17th.
Yes,
mhm.
thank you, May 17th.
Okay,
That
May
works? May
17th.
17th, 6
May
PM?
17th.
Does that work?
Mhm.
Excellent. And with that, we are